what you're drinking. Is that whiskey on your breath? I smelled it, baby. Let me buy you another round. Cause what it looks like and what you look like is that this happens all the time.
What is up, LA? What is up? What is up? This is episode 12 of the Showtime Forum podcast, and I am your host, Rey Javi, along with Mr. Javier Hernandez, aka Golden Knight. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? A lot of stuff to talk about right now, huh?
Yeah, man. We're getting. I guess maybe we should play a game of hot or cold, right? Because I feel like we're scorching at this point.
Oh yeah, no, it's getting hot for sure. It's getting very, very hot here in these last couple of days here. For those who don't know, I'm talking about Anthony Davis. You might have heard him in the news in the last couple of days.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that guy. He plays for the LA Sparks, I think, right?
Oh yeah. No, he's LA Sparks. Possibly Lakers. Let's hope. We don't want him to go anywhere else. Any team that has anything to do with the color green, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. All right, so let's just put this to bed. There's no way the freaking Boston Celtics are gonna come away with Anthony Davis. There's no way.
Absolutely no way. And you saw today, Kyrie. He signed with Rock Nation. Another indicator that strong ties to Brooklyn there, man. It seems like he's going to go to Brooklyn, and that's where he's going to end up. I don't think that helps the Celtics case at all, especially since they were thinking about, hey, if we get Anthony Davis, we can maybe pair Kyrie with him. I mean, that's out the window now, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, before we move on, let's let everybody know where you can catch us. Obviously, you're listening to the Showtime Forum podcast. If you're not already doing this, you should definitely be following us. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on everybody, all right? So just make sure you're listening to us. If you're listening to the actual podcast, we're on all major streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, wherever you want to listen, just listen to it, all right? But, yeah, anyway, like we were talking, there's no way that the Celtics are going to move on this. I heard the news that it sounds like Kyrie's making his way to Rock Nation pretty soon. But I don't know how that's going to pan out. So let's say Kyrie does make his way over to Brooklyn. The initial reports were that he was going to team up with KD, right? So is that still happening even after the KD injury?
No. No, it's not. It's not happening because Kevin Durant right now, he has to look at a lot of options. First and foremost, obviously, is he going to opt in, with the Warriors, given that he still has about $31 million, I believe, if he opts in to his contract, he could use that as a year to rehab. But, I think it would be smarter right now to just go max contract. Anywhere that you go, there's going to be a handful of teams that are still going to give you the max contract. And wherever you go, possibly you want to look at a situation where you want to be long-term. I don't know if maybe that's going to be Brooklyn with Kyrie. I believe Brooklyn still maybe has to do about one move to clear up that cap space. And Kyrie's going to want all the money, man. So I don't know, but it's definitely interesting for sure in these last couple of days how things turn out.
Yeah, and then you got all these reports coming out right now. I believe it was Woj that was sitting here putting the full court press on for the Celtics, right? Where he's sitting there trying to make their package sound a little bit more lucrative than it is, and talking about how the Celtics are not giving up on Anthony Davis and whatnot. I'm not buying that at all, dude. If anybody's on Danny Ainge's payroll right now, it's definitely got to be Adrian Wojnarowski, dude.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I'm not giving up on the Ferrari that I saw at the dealership last time I passed by, but doesn't mean I have enough for it right now, So,
well, at this point, it sounds like we're going to be holding on to one of the guys, though, right? From all reports, let's just kind of just go over Mark Stein. Right. Mark Stein actually tweeted out today, and I'll just kind of read it verbatim. He pretty much said the Lakers have made Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and the number 4 pick in the June 20th draft available in trade talks with the Pelicans. League sources say New Orleans has made it known it hopes to assemble a 3-team or more deal before surrendering Anthony Davis. Right. So, and then he kind of goes on to say the Lakers' ability to seal a deal for Anthony Davis likely hinges on what the number 4 pick can fetch. If the number 4 pick can land a player to excite New Orleans on top of Ingram and Ball, then the teams are headed for an agreement in principle before draft night next Thursday. So, that kind of falls in line with everything we've been hearing for the last couple of days. We've been hearing that supposedly this is going to get done as soon as this weekend. And and the Vegas odds have definitely started to reflect that as well now, with the Lakers being in the lead as far as landing Anthony Davis. And I think you posted something earlier today, right, about Vegas, Caesar's Palace changing their odds, right?
Yeah. So the first one that was posted, I believe, yesterday, a couple of days ago, was AD being heavy favorite to go to the Lakers. Now the Lakers are the second favorites, according to Caesar's Palace, to win the NBA championship in 2020. So, I mean, Vegas might have a little wind of something. I mean, it's pretty telling as far as what they have right now.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm not a betting man at all, but whenever Vegas moves, I pay attention because they're very rarely ever wrong, and they usually know something that we don't. So all this stuff all happening within like the span of 2-3 days, 48 to 72 hours, is just it's beyond coincidence to me. But obviously we've kind of heard what the proposed deal is, right? So we're looking at probably losing Lonzo, BI, probably Josh Hart in the number 4 pick, right? And essentially we'd be keeping Kuzma, at least the way it's been portrayed so far, right?
Right.
So I'm going to ask you something that a friend of mine, I'm not going to mention any names, Donnie, but he was kind of asking, is this more posturing on the Lakers side, or are they really just valuing Kuzma that high?
I think as far as Kuzma goes, we all understand, obviously, that Lonzo and Ingram do have a higher ceiling. I mean, I think we can all agree that that's the case, especially Ingram being, especially Kuzma being the older player. But what's happening here is the Lakers know they're going to lose them, so they want to at least keep, one player. I don't buy that if you tell the Pelicans, hey, you could have Kuzma and Lonzo, they'll let us keep Ingram, or if we say you can have Kuzma and Ingram, that they'll let us keep Lonzo. I don't buy that. The Pelicans are smart enough to know what their asking price is, and I believe that we do value Kuzma, but not enough to where we can select him over these players. I believe he would be the odd man out, and that's a good thing. I mean, considering that we were about to trade the farm just a few months ago to the Pelicans.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that Rob hasn't taken you and our former colleagues' advice of just going all in, right? So
hey, no. Let's go back to that. All right,
no,
Ford car dealership. All right. Now, what we mentioned, all right, that was 2 players. 2 players. That's how you start negotiations, which is essentially how we started, since we're trying to keep Kuzma. Definitely, you don't throw everyone in, but if you do have, again, some sort of hush-hush deal where, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie might end up in Brooklyn, but somebody else coming, and you absolutely have to throw all of them, I believe that you should, just because you have 3 stars to pair with anyway. But the way that Rob and the Lakers are handling this right now, I mean, it's putting us in a position that none of us really expected here.
I mean, I'm not gonna say none of us, because there was I can recall one guy.
Well, you wanted to trade. If I can recall, you wanted to trade Mo Wagner and one of the players.
I wouldn't mind flashing a clip of that. I wouldn't mind flashing a clip of that podcast right now.
Let's flash it back.
That's funny, but I'm just saying. I remember saying, hey, maybe we needed a little sleaziness in the front office, right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Rob's sleaziness pays off in this way. But one of the things I did want to mention, though, is the fact that, right now a lot of it is hinging on the fact that I guess they don't want the number 4 pick. So they might actually want Kuzma in the deal, is what it sounds like, right? So I love Kuzma. I think I value him probably a little bit higher than most people do, and probably most people on the Showtime forum for sure. But I'm thinking that just because Kuzma is the one that this is all hinging on, I myself would probably still move on Anthony Davis. I know several people have said this, but there's no way that Kuzma can be the one that this deal is going to hinge on, right? And I love Kuzma, and I've said I would want to keep one of the 3 guys, but if this deal is going to be stopped at the point where Kuzma's the obstacle, now we got to move him and we got to push him wherever he needs to go at this point, right? Because the way I thought about it today, and I literally was thinking about this today, let's say we move the core, right? Let's say we go Godfather deal all over again, right?
Right.
And so now we're stuck with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, Caruso, and a couple other guys, Jonathan Williams and whoever else. How hard is it to turn down the Lakers offers or their free agency woos if you're sitting at the table with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant.
That's tough, man.
Dude,
that is tough. Just because I know a lot of guys, coming into the league, they see Kobe Bryant or even LeBron James now that he's of age as somebody who they saw coming into the league. But if you walk in that room, it's Los Angeles, it's Kobe Bryant, possibly let's say Kareem's in there. Don't want to mention Magic, obviously, maybe a little bit of bad blood there still. But Anthony Davis, LeBron, and ready to go with a max contract there on the table. That's going to be hard to turn down, man. I mean, it's going to be hard to turn down, more than ever.
I know a lot of people have been saying that Jimmy might end up staying if he gets that max deal from Philly. But do you think he stays if he's got the ability to pair up with LeBron and with AD? Because I don't think Jimmy Butler thinks that him, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid have a shot against Anthony Davis and LeBron and whoever you want to throw in there, whether it's Kyrie or Kemba or Jimmy, or not Jimmy, I'm sorry, but or Kawhi.
Right.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to pick against them.
If you asked me a couple of days ago, I probably would have said Jimmy is going to take the max, from Philly. One of the things that I did see earlier as well in the week is from The Athletic that Tobias Harris has mutual interest with the Nets. Could be possibly that maybe Tobias Harris is going to go join Kyrie in Brooklyn. I mean, I don't know. But that does open the door for Jimmy to have more of a shining role with the Sixers if Tobias does leave. And he can possibly be the leader of that team, being the older guy. Kawhi, it all depends on if he leaves as well. Maybe that opens up the East a little bit more. Obviously, you still have to deal with Giannis, but I mean, if you're Jimmy Butler, man, he looks like an LA guy. I mean, like you said, he comes into the room, he sees these guys, he sees the marketing opportunities, championships, him added to a Laker dynasty. That's just something, man. You can't get any better than that in the NBA.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love Jimmy, man. So, Jimmy, if you're listening to this, please sign on the dotted line immediately. So if we're pairing up, so let's say we don't get Jimmy. Let's say we land, I think we talked about this a little bit last week on the podcast with Harrison Fagan, where we talk about if you got to make a choice between Kemba, Kawhi, no, it's Kemba, Jimmy, and Kyrie, right?
Right.
So, and we were all saying, I think you and Harrison both said what, Kyrie,
right?
You guys were prioritizing, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know, man. Is it sounding like we're going to end up with Kemba Walker possibly if Jimmy ends up staying in Philly and Kyrie ends up heading over to Brooklyn? I mean, would you deem that a loss if we trade for Anthony Davis and we end up pairing him with Kemba Walker and LeBron James?
Oh, absolutely not, man. That's a total win. That's definitely a total win. I mean, easy. Kemba Walker, obviously, he does have the chance to get the Supermax in Charlotte. So that's something that, is possibly going to be a factor. But as you saw earlier, there was a little bit of a leverage play where there was a report Kemba Walker might consider the Mavericks, Lakers, and Knicks. You got to put the big markets of the Lakers and Knicks out there.
Always.
For leverage. It's basically Kemba just saying, give me the money or else. And if we were able to pair a man with AD and LeBron, can you imagine just the offensive power that we have there? It's going to be a juggernaut.
Yeah, but the fact that Kemba had to do that kind of makes me wonder why he had to do that. Because I would not think or even hesitate to say that the Hornets were going to offer him that max deal. So why would he feel the need to have to put that out there? Because like we said, everybody uses the Lakers as leverage. The Lakers are always a leverage play for any free agent, right? Or for most free agents. So for him to come in there and use us, it's either A, he really does have interest in maybe moving, or B, maybe there's some kind of backdoor talks that are going on that he might not be liking right now with the Hornets possibly.
Right. I mean, okay, picture this. You have Kemba on your team, and he's coming off the books. Do you shoot, what is it, 220 million, 225 million at him? Do you make that choice to pay Kemba to be your star player, for now until basically all his prime? Would you do that?
I mean, like I said, my only problem with Kemba is the fact that he's just a defensive liability, man. Teams are going to zone in on him, especially in the playoffs, just because of his height. I honestly don't mind Kemba, but I do mind him at the max deal. But I feel like if we're a viable play, then I feel like he might be open maybe to taking something less, right? I believe Kemba's like 29 right now, so maybe a little bit on the older side. Jimmy's 28, right? And we were kind of already hesitating on Jimmy, I believe. So
yeah, they're all kind of around that 30 mark.
Yeah, so I mean, if you give him a 5-year deal, max him out, he's pretty much capping out at about 34 years old, which is probably where you want to end it with Kemba. The one thing you can say about Kemba is he's been pretty durable. He's been pretty durable. He's been pretty consistent throughout his career.
That's why you get Anthony Davis, man. Anthony Davis, what did he just turn 26, I believe, about 3 months ago? 3 months ago, man. He was just 25. like, this guy's got, a whole max contract of prime left and some, if he decides to stay his whole career. So once you get Anthony Davis, I think the other dominoes will fall. If you don't have Anthony Davis, obviously it's hard for a free agent to walk into the room and make that choice. But again, like you said, if you have Anthony Davis and LeBron in a room where Anthony Davis is ready to go to take the torch and then possibly add somebody else who can go ahead and make history there in Lakerland, I mean, gosh, man, I don't think anybody passes that up.
I can't imagine anybody, unless you got beef with like these guys. I can't imagine you pass them up, right? So moving to the other side of the spectrum, let's say draft day comes along and there's no AD deal for some reason. Knock on wood, knock on plastic, knock on whatever.
Knock on everything.
Yeah, everything, every polyresin, everything, dude. So let's say there's no deal to be made for Anthony Davis, and here we are sitting at number 4.
Right.
Would you rather the Lakers go and take like a Darius Garland, or would you rather move that pick? I personally would probably move that pick.
It depends how valuable that 4th pick is. I mean, you're kind of going to assess the market of how valuable the 4th pick is right now, because New Orleans is testing out a 3rd team who could possibly fetch that 4th pick for another player. So you kind of get an idea of what you can get for the number 4 pick. If it's not something that you're going to like or something that's going to benefit the team moving forward, then obviously, you have to draft somebody. And I think Garland is somebody who can come and have an impact just because of his shooting, his scoring ability in general. Not so much on the defensive end, but when you have a backcourt of Garland and Lonzo, I think they can pair up very well. You have LeBron, Ingram, Kuzma. You run it back, maybe bring JaVale. It's a pretty athletic team, and it's going to be a good offensive team. I don't know about defensively how much we can do, but I think that's the route we take.
I couldn't, man. There's no way I can take Garland. There's no damn way. There's no way I can draft anybody. I'd have to move that pick for anybody that remotely would be a welcome addition to the squad. I'm not saying
as far as that. So who would you maybe have in mind, or a type of player that you'd like to come along for the number 4 pick?
I mean, dude, it's tough to say. I mean, obviously you're not going to get probably an A+ guy, but dude, we can even snag like a B+ guy. I'd probably move him for even like a Spencer Dinwiddie type of player. Somebody who's not really a role player, but a little bit above that, maybe in the mix between premier player and like kind of reserve guy, just because if we take that number 4 pick, we're getting younger, and that's not the route we want to go at all. I mean, I know LeBron keeps saying he loves the kids and all that stuff, but it's more than obvious that he doesn't love them that much, because we're literally heading right back down the same path that we were at the trade deadline, where now these trades are starting to leak. So now Kuzma's supposedly he's staying. Now BI and Lonzo are assuming they're going, and now you got those feelings bubbling up again, and for them to still be on the team after the draft it's going to be tough to manage for anybody. Well, I guess in this case it'd be Frank Vogel, but I don't know, man. I couldn't make that deal. I couldn't go and use that number 4 pick. There are plenty of teams out there that would covet that number 4 pick. I mean, I wouldn't even say that. I was about to say that maybe I would even trade back, maybe get a couple of extra picks, but no, man,
I couldn't. It's going to make us younger again.
It would, exactly.
Right, yes.
And I like Garland. I like Garland from what I've seen, but my whole issue with Garland is the fact that he had the injury that limited him last season, so we really haven't seen a ton on him. And if you pair that up with the fact that he's not working out for the Lakers, that to me, I don't understand that at all. I don't understand why he wouldn't, especially being a clutch client.
To me, it makes actually sense that he's not working out for the Lakers, just because they're probably not going to have him anyway. So that's something that maybe, I don't know, if Rich Paul working behind the scenes, possibly if you don't want to work out for the Lakers, it's because you don't want anybody to pretty much find out maybe how good you are, maybe Garland doesn't want to go to the Pelicans. He knows that he's going to be shopped around. Depends on where he's going to end up. So he might, if he knows he's not going to the Lakers, he might want to keep people wondering and see if maybe he gets to a better team that he wants to fall to, other than a team coveting him just because of his skill alone. But it's not a market maybe that he's targeting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get that angle. The way I was kind of viewing it was maybe the fact that maybe they don't want to show too much of Garland, because they did put out that little hype clip last week, right, with him practicing with LeBron through the clutch page or the clutch platforms.
Right.
But I mean, I could also argue maybe the fact that they don't want to show too much of Garland, just because maybe there's some flaws that they don't want teams seeing, to maybe entice him to take that number 4 pick.
That could be, and maybe he's not 100% yet, so you don't want to put out any sort of official workout where maybe it's going to not show his full ability or skill. Maybe that's something, too, that they're trying to hide for now, because he did just come off of injury. I don't believe he's 100% just yet, but I think he's going to be a good contributor wherever he goes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And honestly, even if we weren't to make this Anthony Davis, I've said this in the past, but I would be okay just running back the same team, adding a free agent, and just running back the same team with some better role players. I mean, let's say we do move the guys, and they're suiting up for the Pelicans next season. I mean, the Pelicans got they're going to have a lot of prime talent. I mean, if you really look into the end of the season for all 3 players, I mean, they were killing it. If you look at BI over the last 32 games of last season, after he came back from injury, after he acclimated to LeBron and all the trade rumors and all that stuff, dude, BI actually averaged 25 and 3 with a true shooting percentage of 57%. Dude, and just kind of throwing it out there, I do want to go ahead and shout out our stat guy, BJ Meta, for these awesome stats. But he did bring up a good point where he was saying that BI's true shooting percentage, actually, I'd have to look for it, but he ranked up there with the elite, the cream of the crop as far as the true shooting percentage went. I'll find that right now. But even if you kind of start delving into Lonzo averaged about 10, 6, and 6, right, for the last season, roughly. Right. There were only a few other guys that actually averaged that, and that was James Harden, Nikola Jokic, Ben Simmons, LeBron, Westbrook, and DeRozan. So that right there, I mean, people say what they want about Lonzo and his shooting woes and all that. I mean, you could, just by seeing that class right there, that kind of tells you where he's at. And then on top of that, he should have been on one of these all defensive teams.
Yeah, Lonzo's more than just offense. Okay, Lonzo, because everybody all they say is, oh, Lonzo Ball can't shoot the ball. But are you seeing that he's an above average rebounder? His basketball IQ, a great defender, not just a great defender, an elite defender, one of the best in the league. In only his second season. So Lonzo Ball is definitely somebody that you can value and say, man, maybe we have something here. And if you don't let go, you can't feel too bad, because at the same time, just how you touched on Brandon Ingram as well. This isn't the first time that in the second half of the season, he kind of picks up on what he needs to do, and he starts using his length. He starts using his skill a little bit more, his mid-range jump shot. It's just a matter of time before he finds out how to go ahead and transition that into a full season, as opposed to just the second half of the season. So if we don't end up trading the guys, I mean, we do have something special there. LeBron is rested, but as you mentioned, we do want to have maybe a role player if we trade the number 4 pick. That's not a bad option. You see Giannis, what he's doing with, Brogdon, Mirotic, players like that aren't superstars, all-stars, but can contribute to the point where you can be close to winning a championship.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an interesting stat as well, but Lonzo actually ranked 8th in and let me see here. Oh my God, my thing just froze. All right, we'll go back to that right now. But I do have the Ingram. So Ingram, he, out of everybody in the NBA, he was averaging 25 and 3 on 57 true shooting percentage, right? So the only guys that actually averaged the same were James Harden, the Greek Freak, PG, Jokic, KD, Kat, Vucevic, Steph, AD, Kawhi, Kyrie, Embiid, Griffin, Blake Griffin, Beal, and LeBron, and Julius Randle.
Incredible list.
Right? That's not a bad list to be on. I'd like to be on that list. How can I get on that list, actually?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm telling you, man, as far as that goes, you can't feel too bad if you're not able to trade the kids. I mean, obviously for me, I prefer to have Anthony Davis and LeBron, and then you figure the rest out. But if you end up having the kids, I mean, it is going to feel that much more special if we're able to accomplish something with these kids. as opposed to just, LeBron and Anthony Davis coming in and winning a championship, which obviously is going to be amazing beyond belief. But there's something special about guys you draft that you can possibly win something with.
Yeah, especially when you start to see them blossom. Oh, and I finally got that stat loaded here. So it was actually Lonzo ranked 8th in defensive real plus minus for point guards,
Right.
which is actually on par with Marcus Smart, who made the first team all defense. So I've never gotten that whole narrative that Lonzo's trash and he can't contribute. Dude, he's literally like a Swiss Army knife. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he would work even better on a super team just because he's that guy that doesn't need to chuck up 30 shots. He has no problem, getting up 3-4 shots and throwing out 8 dimes, and as long as the ball is moving and the teams are winning, I mean, he's the perfect guy. Kuz, on the other hand, volume shooter. BI, he's got to be the primary focus of an offense. He's more of a ball stopper, but Zoe would fit perfectly. So I don't know. I kind of going back to Donnie's question was the fact that he was asking if the Lakers were maybe posturing, and maybe they are posturing. Maybe they're posturing a little bit to the point where the Pelicans start to press them a little bit more for Kuzma in the number 4 pick, and they take Lonzo off the table. Who knows? Who knows what trick Rob's got up his sleeves, right?
Yeah, as long as he's got a trick, man, that's all we're looking for here. I mean, I don't think you go into a discussion here with the Pelicans this advanced once again, and it doesn't happen. I mean, hearing that David Griffin's already seen what he can get for the number 4 pick, possibly, if something does happen, is kind of telling of how advanced these things already are. And it's not going to be the same situation where it doesn't happen. You have guys upset on both ends again. They're not going to want to start the season with Anthony Davis, as a Pelican again, because that's all, folks, So we want to make sure that if we're going to be doing something, that we do it quick, that we get ready for training camp and the season. And I think it does happen sooner rather than later.
No, I agree with you. So let's say we do end up keeping Kuz. I got some stats here on Kuz. Looking at Kuz's season last season.
Best fashion.
What was that?
Best fashion on the team.
Not if you ask Lonzo, probably, right?
Most dinners with Genie out of the players.
Well, I'll give it to Kuz, man. Kuz went for the throat. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. So he was like, hey, Genie, what are you doing for dinner tomorrow night, right? He took a page right out of
in there. Yeah, getting close to Genie kind of maybe saves face a little bit for everything.
Yeah, he was definitely getting some advice from Ty Lue, just playing on the heartstrings, So Kuzma last season averaged 18, 5, and 2 on 54 true shooting percentage, right? So he was in a pretty good list himself. He was in there with Harden, Giannis, PG, Jokic, KD, Kat, Vucevic, Steph, AD, Kawhi, LaMarcus Aldridge, Kyrie, Embiid, Gallinari, Griffin, Jimmy Butler, Beal, LeBron, Tobias, DeRozan, Middleton, Randall, Buddy Hield, Doncic, Kuzma, and Ingram. So you're looking at the bottom tier of that. You're looking at the Tobias, the DeRozans, and Middleton. So if you can keep one of those type of players, that would be an awesome number 3 pick, right? And I do want to add that out of all that list, only 8 of those guys were actually 24 years or younger. And that was Giannis, Jokic, Kat, Embiid, Randall, Doncic, Kuzma, and Ingram. Kuzma and Ingram. You're talking about 3 guys there.
See, that's what I think. That's what I think. It's a little shocking to me, and it's just kind of whenever you have good players on the Lakers, let's say Julius Randle. Okay, he's playing out of his mind, and we see it, and we say it on social media. Everybody else comes, no, Julius Randle's overrated. Julius Randle can't do this. He can't rebound. He's too short. As soon as he goes to the Pelicans, oh, Julius Randle looks like an all-star. He did the exact same thing for us the season before. It's going to be the same thing with Lonzo. It's going to be the same thing with Ingram. Everybody doesn't value them the way they should be valued, but as soon as they go to another team, oh, look at this. Lonzo isn't just a bad shooter. Maybe he plays defense. He has a high IQ. It's going to happen, and that's something that just irks me so much, that when we lose them, everybody's going to start noticing how good they really are.
Oh, of course, man. But that's part of the Laker brand, man. If you're a Laker fan, you know that. It's like being a Cowboy fan. It's like being a Yankee fan. You know that there's 2 sides of the spectrum and there's no in between. You hate them or you love them. Right. There is no, I don't really care about them. I honestly, I don't think I've ever come across anybody who was indifferent about any of those franchises. It's either you hate them or you're a fan, one or the other.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and then kind of, we're going to wrap this up in a little bit, but we did announce last week that we're going to be running a little bit of a t-shirt contest. So we posted up, we did go and post we we made a post on Instagram where you guys could go ahead and drop a follow for a friend, and we'll enter you into this t-shirt contest, right? So we had about 42 entries.
Right.
And out of those 42 entries, we had one winner. So it looks like actually Mr. Big Baby Jonathan actually is the winner of our Showtime Forum t-shirt. So we're going to go ahead and get this over to Big Baby. So we'll go ahead and DM you, Big Baby, and see what size you need or what size you'd like, and we'll send that over to you. So we appreciate everybody that joined in the contest. We'll probably run one in the next week or so as well. So, if you feel like, you got cheated out of it or whatever the case is, you got another shot at it, right? So
maybe we put in a frozen envelope, somewhere there where we touched it, before New York Knicks throwback style, but, still enter anyway. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Maybe next week we'll raffle off like a lock of the infamous Greg Bergman's hair. How about that, right? Put that up on eBay. This is ridiculous. So next week, are we looking at Anthony Davis in purple and gold or what?
I don't think next week, man. I think this week. I think this week. I think it happens in the next 48 hours or so. I know it's cliche. Everybody's been saying that, but there's just so many things moving so fast to the point where the framework's already there. It's just a matter of time before this gets done here before the weekend, possibly the night or after the NBA Finals tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, there's way too much smoke. I'm hoping that this is done by the weekend because I don't think I could take another week of speculation, man. I don't think my heart can hold on for that long, bro.
I'm tired of refreshing on Twitter. I'm tired of post notifications, shams notifications. I'm getting a headache. AD just come to the Lakers already.
Please, man.
Just please relax a little bit.
So let's make our final determinations right now. So AD is a Laker. Come this Monday, he will be a Laker. Who's joining him? Go. Who's going to join him?
Jimmy Butler. All signs point to maybe him, being very interested in Philadelphia. But I think when AD comes and he sees the opportunity to do something historic in LA, I think he's going to do it.
So if we are moving in on Jimmy, then who's our starting point guard next season if Lonzo's at the door?
The great Caruso.
Ooh, man.
I'm sure we can actually find some veteran point guards at that time if we have the team that we're hoping that we do. It's going to be like a Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors, Spurs, that type of situation where just veterans come in to want to help out, try to win a championship at the minimum. So hopefully we can get somebody solid.
Yeah, I'm hoping the same thing, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But let's make sure that we refer to Alex Caruso as Mr. AC Fresh, okay? That's how he likes to be referred to, all right?
AC Fresh. All right, so who are the Lakers signing with if we get AD and LeBron? Go.
Man, it's gotta be Jimmy, man. It's gotta be Jimmy, but that's what I'm saying. And so if it's Jimmy, then who's running? It sounds like Rondo's coming back. It sounds like Rondo's going to be running a point for us.
That's not far-fetched, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. When you have Rondo with those three guys, it doesn't have to feature him as much. I mean, he's a good ball distributor.
So we got Rondo, we got Jimmy, we got LeBron, we got AD, and JaVale's coming back at the 5, it sounds like then.
That's solid, man.
Yeah?
That's solid.
All right. Well, would you be opposed to Brook Lopez coming back?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Splash Mountain? That guy killed it in the playoffs. It was a mistake to even let him go the first time. So obviously, if the opportunity does present itself, bring him back by all means.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm completely down with that. I never really understood why we got rid of him to begin with, but I would gladly take him back. But I do want to say he was a little bit overvalued. I know a lot of Laker fans were upset that he didn't come back, and they didn't understand why. Brooke, I was about to call him Rob. Brooke was great. He was great for us, right? But he had a lot of bad stretches. I mean, like long stretches where he just was putting up, maybe 7 in like 3 or 4 in like 5, and then he'd have that big game where he dropped 20 some odd and, sink, 4 or 5 3-pointers. Yeah, that's all great. But he wasn't as consistent as people were saying he was last season. But like I said, I would still take him, especially if it's going to be a split between him and JaVale. So we'll see, man. Hopefully, if we're lining that team up, we got Rondo. We got that's not a bad squad, man. That's not a bad squad. Hopefully, we get a better Rondo. He did tend to slack a little bit last season. I don't know if it was just because of all the drama going around it, but
might be the inconsistent rotations from Luke. I mean, who knows?
Possibly, but that still didn't explain a lot of those underhanded passes he was flinging all over the damn place. But, it is what it is at this point, man. But, yeah, at this point, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and say our goodbyes to the Showtime Forum family from Javier Hernandez, Mr. AKA Golden Knight, and myself, Rael Barbone. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to another week of the Showtime Forum podcast. This is where I get my sultry voice. So for those of you guys who aren't following us already, you can definitely follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on what else are we on? YouTube, Twitch,
Twitter, everywhere, all over the place. Yeah, make sure to check us out and also keep an eye out for Golden Knight GFX. The graphics are going to come for Anthony Davis. You can rest assured that that's going to happen here in the coming week. Next time we're on the podcast, we're going to be talking more Anthony Davis.
Oh, I hope so, man. I hope so. So for everybody, from everybody at the Showtime Forum podcast, we want to thank you guys. All right. So make sure you guys tune in again next week, whatever platform, whatever streaming platform you listen to, just
wherever it is.
Finish it for me, please, man. Finish it.
We're struggling artists. We do this for free. We make it look easy. It's not easy. We just make it look easy. Go ahead and just give us a like, a retweet, listen, whatever. Just click us. It's fine. We appreciate it.
And we'll have some pretty good guests coming up as well, so stay tuned. We got a few surprises in store, so make sure you guys are listening. All right, till next week, guys.
See ya.
Deuces.